Nah, dog. I don't even know where to find that shit at. But we hot.
We hiding
It's fine. It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another riveting, captivating, delectable, sexual, intellectual episode of Too Late We Said It podcast. Case.
The fire case. That's because we caught a case. As you can see, the wall behind them. They just let us out of solitary so we could do this show real quick.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Featuring my brother Edwin Nevada. And myself, Sean Leverett. Welcome, everybody. It's been a long time since we had another episode. It's been months.
Yeah.
Months. What, man? I think we haven't had an episode since we won the Super Bowl. I mean, since the Super Bowl.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the Super Bowl. A lot of things that happened. I got deported.
Oh shit! Welcome back.
I just snuck back into the country.
Damn, at least they kept your crib for you.
Yeah, they sent me back to Puerto Rico. Oh shit! Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth.
Puerto Rico. Oh.
It was a little joke for people that forget that Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Well, you know,
hey, shout out to the Hispanic culture too, yo. You know, last night I was driving home I went to the casino with my wife, and I just kept listening to the song, yo. This is for the raza.
La raza. La raza. Speaking of Latin culture, I'll jump right into it. Last night, history was made. The first time in history of boxing that women showcased the Madison Square Garden. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor were fighting in front of a packed crowd, sold out crowd in Madison Square Garden. The Irish folk was in there. The Puerto Rican folk was in there. It was live as hell. It was the loudest I've ever heard watching a pay-per-view event. The announcers barely could hear themselves because it was so loud in there. From ole, 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 ole. And then the Puerto Ricans was just being loud, you know.
Hey, yo, so it was a Puerto Rican chick and an Irish chick?
Yeah. Katie Taylor.
Who won?
Katie Taylor. That's a good question. So, the fight was a back and forth fight. It was a brawl from round 1 to round 10. It went the distance.
Damn,
yeah, it went the full 10 rounds. 2 minutes per round. And Amanda Serrano had Katie Taylor hurt in the 5th round. Some say that if it would have been a standard 3-minute round, she probably wouldn't have made it out the round. I tend to agree to that. But Katie Taylor possessed so much heart and grit that she withstand a punishment. And while Amanda was going to work on her in the 5th, she came out of the round and survived, got her second win, won a series of rounds, and she edged out a split decision victory over Amanda Serrano and kept her belts.
So who won, the white community or the black and brown community?
Katie Taylor won the split decision victory. A lot of fans is like, you know,
that's the white girl.
Yeah, Katie Taylor is the Irish girl. She won. Amanda Serrano lost by split decision, but she let her off the hook. Like, in my opinion, she had her hurt and she let her off the hook. She kind of like took a break in the 6th round, and that allowed Katie Taylor to get her bearings back. And she was just boxing from the outside, and she just had the hand speed. Like Katie Taylor had the hand speed, and Amanda Serrano had the power. Katie Taylor neutralized her power by staying on the outside, using her hand speed to keep her neutral, and started winning the rounds. The 10th round could have been anybody's round. I think that the 10th round was the deciding round. I think that the judges ended up giving Katie Taylor the 10th round, which ultimately led to her winning the split decision victory. But it was a great fight. They're already talking about a rematch in Ireland. Jake Paul was mad as hell, talking about it was a draw at best. You know, Amanda should have won, and he was talking mad shit. They're already... Yeah, man, but I mean, hey, you gotta give him credit. He's a major contributor to why this fight even happened to begin with.
Jake, this is a message to Jake Paul. If you want to fight me, nigga, $5 billion. I'm against the brick, brother. Hey, but on the real, man, shout out to the ladies, man. That's humongous. Man.
But that's huge. They both got 7-figure paychecks for that fight. That was the biggest payday in women's boxing. So I mean, it's only a start there. Clarissa Shields was there, and she was calling a fight, which was amazing. Not to mention, let me not forget, Franchon Cruz, Baltimore's own, won an undisputed fight. She just became undisputed champion. She was the undercard fight in that. She destroyed her opponent. I'll talk about a full 10 rounds of straight massacre. Lady's face was so bloody. Her corner just stopped wiping the blood off her face. She was going and the blood was all over her face. They're like, fuck it, just sticking things up her nose. I'm like, yo, wipe the blood off her face.
Throw in the damn towel.
And she was destroying. Yeah, throw in the towel. So she gave her an ass whooping, and she won her belts. So she's now the undisputed champion. So I mean that feels good. You know, Franchon Cruz did her thing, the heavy hitting diva. So
hopefully whoever doing the promo for these fine women can take their musty ass to the WNBA and get the promo popping over there, because
exactly,
it's dry.
Believe it or not, as much as people hate Jake Paul, he was a big contributing factor to why that fight card happened the way it did. So
he called out Dana White too for not paying the MMA.
Yeah, they doing a lot. And Dana White ain't too happy about that shit, but Jake Paul and fucking the Irish dude,
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor talking mad shit about fighting now too. So that's going on too, and Conor. Yeah,
I saw Francis Ngannou is going to fight. What's the big white boy that knock all the black people?
Oh, Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury, yes.
Yeah, but Tyson Fury just retired.
They said he gonna chase that bag because that's gonna be a $50 million fight.
Yeah. I mean, he should, but he won it in a spectacular fashion. Yo, he hit the dude with a uppercut, hit him in the chin, and just pushed him like, get that. Yo, he was like, ma, and they went, Yo, didn't get up.
He's not gonna beat no Nigerian nigga.
What's his name? James White, was it? Yeah,
he's from France. Listen, black people from England can't fight.
No, but he was talking mad shit. He said that he did catch it with a good punch, but the push. I was like, dude, if you wasn't knocked down, that push would have not fell, because that push was not that big. Yo, he just kind of just gave you a little nudge to let how when you knock someone out and they're just standing there like this.
Yeah.
Finish him. He just went. He was finishing him. He was like. Whew. And then he went, but he was like, the reason why he got knocked out because the back of his head hit the canvas. Yo, if you weren't knocked out, you could have protected yourself when you fell. But only people that are knocked out let their head fully hit the canvas. Right. I fell down backwards many times, and I ain't never let my head get smacked back. That's when you knocked out. You're like, knock.
That's a toddler fall.
Yeah, he knocked his head back. So either way, he takes that L, take that KO L, and go home with it. But the draft. Did you watch the draft?
I watched maybe till Sauce Gardner got drafted, and then I was
so you just went to pick 4 and turned the TV up. Because the Rams, since they traded all their picks, they're like, I ain't got what they had, like 3 picks in the. I didn't even.
We had 8 picks,
but they were late round picks.
We got a nigga from DeVry, Howard County Community College. We got a couple niggas from some.
You got some from Morgan State.
Morgan State Bears. The sports equipment manager was on there. So. But what the Ravens do though, dog? What the Ravens?
Man, the Ravens had an amazing draft. They for some reason the top 5, Kyle Hamilton, the top safety in the draft, who's projected to be a 5th round pick. I mean, he had a bad 40 time, but in the end, remember his 40 time in the combine was like a sub 4.5, like a 4.6. I think he had like a 4.7 40. So people was looking at like he wasn't that fast. But if you look at the game film, the tape tells you the difference. Yes, sideline. So there's difference between a 40 time and game speed. Like there's 2 different things. So I don't know if he did that on purpose to try to like make himself, but no one would do that purposely. He just had a bad jump. Some people aren't good at the track shit. So he had a bad 40 time. He dropped down to 14. The Ravens scooped him up. And then all of a sudden, A.J. Brown gets traded to the Eagles, and not minutes later, we see Marquise Brown gets traded to the Cardinals, which everybody knew, like, the fans was crazy about it. But 5 minutes after he was traded, guess who was at the Arizona draft party? Marquise Brown was already fucking there, fucking waving at the Arizona fans. So obviously he already knew he was being traded. He had a press conference and said that he's already spoken to Lamar multiple times in the past 2 seasons, saying that he's not really feeling comfortable in our offense and it's not really his style. And it's true, because the Ravens are more of a gritty physical team, and he's kind of a finesse player. Nothing wrong with that. It's just he's not the guy that's gonna he's just a small dude, and they want him to play big. So I mean, it makes sense. So what y'all? They traded back into the first round and got the 23rd pick. 23rd pick came, and they were trying to get Tyler Linderbaum, the top center in the draft. So he was still there. So they traded back with the Bills. They traded back a couple picks and went to 25, which coincidentally is the pick that we picked. Marquise Brown is pick 25 in the 2019 draft, and so happens we basically got that pick back and picked Tyler Linderbaum, the center, with that pick, and then got another 4th round pick. So we had a total of 6 fourth round picks. It was crazy. So the fourth round is like every 5 picks the Ravens were picking. It was crazy.
And y'all still ain't gonna do shit. That's the
Man, I think that was a great draft they had. You know, the only thing that can stop the Ravens now is injuries. It's like getting the players that we got injured from last year back.
Hold on, do you have any offensive weapons, Edwin?
Of course. Do you not know about Rashad Bateman? Yo, the two tight ends they just picked. One of them is a hybrid. This dude Isaiah Likely.
You already have a tight end.
Yeah, Mark Andrews and
gave him $100 million or some shit. Why you need another?
Yeah. No, because we like to run 2 to 3 tight end sets. We couldn't do that last year because all our tight ends were hurt. So now they picked up the. I'm not even worried about the other dude. This dude Isaiah Likely, for some reason, he just comes off to me like a hybrid. He's kind of like a wide receiver playing tight end. He's got speed, natural speed, and ball skills. I mean, having him out there, you know what I mean. So you can't just have Mark Andrews being the sole contributor in the offense. So you gotta have. So when you have multiple tight end sets, you're gonna have to address 2 tight ends running routes with Rashad Bateman, like pulling the coverage. So. I mean, you can say what you want, but you remember what the score was the first 2 times y'all played Lamar Jackson. Woo-hoo!
The last time we played Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson didn't play that game, and we almost still won.
And where did we go last year?
Y'all won the chip, man. You knew that. I ain't hating on y'all for that.
And we
you know what I mean?
Back. We got.
I don't know about that, man.
Bobby Wagner, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Cam Akers, Matt Stafford, Tyler. I mean, what? We don't have no salary cap. We selling cocaine under the stadium.
Going right back. You gonna run it back to back.
So, who you think that? I mean, that on the low, the Jaguars got a lot of players.
The Jaguars had a very good draft, but they had a lot of picks too. So it's just a matter of what their quarterback's gonna do. Oh yeah, go ahead and represent.
I had to fuck 2 fat bitches.
So you fucking around with represent. Took me like 30 minutes to try to get this in frame. So fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
That's fire, nigga. And
that you mind your T number 8, son.
Gang. Yeah, yo. So it's crazy, man. But I'm excited I'm excited, and we gotta really open it up to the basketball thing, man, because we don't really even watch. Basketball.
I watch basketball, but I don't really put a lot of effort into it.
LeBron not in the playoffs, so it's like fuck that shit.
I wasn't watching it even still. That Lakers team was just pure ass water, man. Pure ass water.
Old and decrepit. It was trash. But anyway, man, let's we're gonna switch gears. Molly Quirm not here, so they're not gonna LeVar Ball us. Let's switch gears.
Right.
Go to the next topic we want to talk about, man. A lot of one of the things that was big in social media over the last couple of weeks. I'm sure everybody touched on it, but fuck it, we gonna touch on it too, nigga, because we ain't been here. Social media has been on fire lately with the word that Mr. Elon Musk had purchased Twitter, and a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are saying that it's going to affect. Trump gonna come back, the devil gonna come back. All that Jesus ain't gonna come to earth because Elon Musk bought Twitter. All that other shit like that. I don't even. Do you use Twitter, Edwin?
Very rarely. I don't tweet myself, but sometimes when I'm trying to find some news, Twitter is the fastest medium as far as getting information out with, like, news, football news, any kind of sports news, and specific news. Like any news about somebody, people are tweeting instantly. So if you want to find information quickly, like I'll go to someone's Twitter account just to see what's going on. But other than that, I'm not really active on Twitter at all. Other than sometimes I'll check like, some of these sports journalists that report on the teams, like trades and stuff. Because Hollywood Brown's trade was announced instantly on Twitter before it even got announced on the TV.
So let me ask you a question. Where do you feel that social media's responsibility is as far as providing valid news, as to say that we hold that as a 100% reputable, truthful source of information that should be regulated in a sense to make sure that people can't put fake news or misinformation on there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I think that's an individual responsibility that when you're going to go on there, you're supposed to make sure that you're putting information that's accurate on there. But the problem is, technically, that's not what Twitter or social media is technically for.
Right.
Social media is is for giving people a voice that in other cases would not have one. So whether that voice is a true voice or false voice, I think it's up to the listener and the person that's actually putting the content out to make sure that, hey, if you want to be a credible source, then because the minute that if you're putting out source and you get found out, or like someone proves that you're putting out bullshit, then people are gonna not take you seriously. So I mean, it's it's to the beholder. And if you're watching the shit, you have to understand, like, do you trust the source before you go ahead and retweet? Because that's how Twitter works. It's if you like what somebody says, you can retweet it, and then it just keeps circulating. That's how it goes viral. So understanding your source that you're getting it from, and the source should also know, hey man, I'm putting this information. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm being factual about what I'm putting out. Otherwise, this is going to go viral, and misinformation is going to go out. Like Lamar Jackson tweeted the WTF, and it turns out the WTF had nothing to do with the trade, because he already knew the trade was happening. Had nothing to do with Tyler Linderbaum being the pick, because he wasn't worried about that. He was saying what the fuck, because he saw Marquise Brown in a picture minutes after the trade was announced in Arizona. So he said WTF because he couldn't believe that Marquise was already over there. Like, damn, yo, that's how you feel? Like, you already... So that's what the WTF was for. But people said he was mad because he didn't know he got traded, or he was mad that they picked a center. But
I'm not even talking about sports. I'm talking about...
Well, I mean, that's just an example that somebody takes something out of context and think that meant one thing when it didn't mean that.
So, but in my opinion, I look at social media as probably one of the fakest places on earth.
It is.
Everybody on there is fronting, flogging, and finessing. So I wouldn't take any. What I'm trying to say is, I think that you can get highlights on there, but as far as educating on yourself on something, no one should ever in any circumstance.
Yeah, that shouldn't be your main source.
Information from social media and use that in implication in their own life. And I just
President Trump during his campaign was using social media as a medium to feed misinformation and sway people to vote for him based on the lies he was saying. He was like exaggerating on his candidates, so he was using that shit. But and people were sharing all of his lies, and I'm like, dude, that's not even accurate. So
I don't know. I guess people can become victims to that shit.
People automatically assume because it's online, it's true. It's like, I'm reading it online, or because I'm Googling. Like, here's a fact about Google. Google is not a fact medium. Google is a medium, which means that if it goes by how many visits and clicks something gets. So when you put a search, like let's say you put a search of like, Tyler Perry, the most clicked source is going to be first. And then it's going to go down from there. So whatever has the most hits is going to be at the top. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's accurate information. It's just the most looked up information. And it goes down for anything. Like if you put your name, Google your name, then anything that you've done online will show that any public activity online will show up at the top, and then it'll work its way down. So you have to, just because you're pressing Google doesn't mean every information, because it's a search engine. It's not a fact engine. It's a search engine. You just have to know the sources when you click on what you search for. Know that this is a credible source and what's not. So that's why a lot of times when I'm like, someone says Google it, it's like sometimes
that's not valid in itself. So do you think people should censor people? I mean, even motherfuckers that's lying. Like,
I think so, man. There should be some kind of thing, like something like if somebody proves it's fake news, then
who's proving it?
Somebody should police it, huh? Fact checking.
Who's fact checking?
I don't know. The fucking
how you gonna trust
is it the government? What I mean, can you trust the government? Because they also like to fabricate shit. You know what I mean?
Nigga, they love to.
That's propaganda.
They love it, nigga.
Yeah, they love it. So
I mean, that's my thing. I'm not a censorship of free speech type of guy. Even if a motherfucker lying to you, that's on you to not be lied to. That's like saying, we both are fathers. So if my son running here and be like, yeah, nigga, Ricky up the street told me I could grab that girl ass, she'd be all for it, nigga. He shouldn't have lied to me. No, nigga, you should have hollered at her.
That was hearsay. That's when you teach your son about hearsay.
That's what social media is.
It's hearsay. It's hearsay.
So, I mean, I feel like we are giving so much of our freedoms and our, my grandmother used to always tell me the only thing that separate us and the animals is our ability to think for ourselves. So
Correct.
if you voluntarily surrender those freedoms and that ability, and you just leaning on people to make the world for you, I feel like at the end, when we get to the end of that road, it's going to be like, look, nigga, we tell you what to do because we've been telling you what to do. Suck on this titty, drink this little bit of honey milk, and you do your thing. Do what we tell you to do. And I just don't want to be in a world like that, man. I like to think, and I like to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I like to be wrong because that's how you learn. But if the contrast of what you initially bought into is not there, like I can obviously, like, if Donald Trump come out there and be like, I got the GDP at 99% higher than anybody in the United States ever, I'm be like, nigga, I know you lying, nigga. Let me find out if you're telling the truth.
That was a fantastic impersonation.
I think the way that our information consumption just rolls.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
And yeah, information's rolling so fast too, so quick. Boom, 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 boom. On to the next thing.
We need to get a segment on the show called "Nigga, What Happened to That?" Where we go back and look at some topics from like 4, 5, 6 months ago and dig back into them and see how it played out, like the Ghislaine Maxwell situation and all that.
Yeah.
Like what?
All the stuff's just
with that.
Yes.
By the time when they want to cover something up, they just get Will Smith to smack Chris Rock.
Yeah, okay, because things coming so fast, and then when information's coming at light speed, huge information comes, but then not seconds later, something bigger comes, and then it just starts circulating back in through, and by the time you even get a thought on what actually is happening, you're already on to the next thing, going, oh, did you hear that? This and this happened. Oh shit! And then before you know, it's like, whatever happened with? I don't even know, because it just came and went. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is. It's too many people. It's too many people. It's just it's an oversaturation of information.
That's why I tell niggas, like, I don't even want to hear that shit you talking about. When niggas come gossiping and shit like that, I'll be like, man, just keep that shit to yourself. I don't want to.
If it ain't messing with me, somebody came. Did you hear that so and so died? It's like, have I ever watched any of their content? No. Do I listen to their music? No. I don't even want to waste my thought on it. Then exactly, I mean, man. Prayers to their family. Keep it moving.
That's a lie. You say prayers to their family, and then you up in Dippin' Dots eating ice cream.
Speaking of which, what is it with thoughts and prayers? Like, do people really think and pray? When you say my thoughts and prayers, do you have intention to actually have a thought and a prayer on the topic at hand, like, on the tragedy? Formalities. Like, if there's anything I can do. Obviously, if you call, you're not going to pick up the phone, but anything I do, I'm just a phone call away. If you need anything, just call me, like help to move or anything like that. And then when you call, it's like, hey, I would like to take you up on that offer to do whatever you can. I need some help. I'm moving. I was like, yeah, I'm out of town right now. Yeah.
I would, man. I would.
I didn't really think you were gonna take me up on the offer. It's just formalities. I was like, well, lose my number, fucker. And just hang up on me. Oh yeah, are we allowed to swear? Are we allowed to curse?
It's too late. We said it, nigga.
Oh shit, you right.
We'd have been cussing for 10 episodes now, bro.
Okay. Hey man, anybody want to call in and then weigh in on the thing? I see right now we got a couple of viewers watching in. We appreciate you. That number's on the bottom. You can feel free to call in and join in and put your thoughts on the topic. You want to go ahead and roll over to the next topic?
Yeah. So the next thing we're gonna talk about, man, it's gonna be it's a hotly contested topic, man. We're gonna talk about something that a lot of people don't talk about. We hear it on the flip side with the men, but we don't hear it about the women.
Okay,
it's starting to come to the forefront a little bit, and we talking about toxic femininity, man.
I'm glad you could say it.
Yeah, I know. We spent 5 minutes before doing.
I can't even fucking say it, yo. My lips don't work. Toxic femininity. Did I say it?
Yeah,
toxic femininity. I have to emphasize the T, otherwise it'll just my mouth would run away. Toxic femininity.
There you go.
Femininity. Toxic femininity.
Praise God.
Femininity.
God. So yeah. For eons, and I'm not saying it's unjustly assigned to certain men that are toxic or whatever, but what we must realize is that in this world, especially in Western culture, everybody ain't shit. So to hold somebody beyond reproach and to be like, well, you don't judge and you can't speak on this and you can't say this, I think that is just completely irresponsible to
Yep.
just put somebody a beyond reproach to the point which you can't even say it. And it's starting to come to the forefront with cases like you see what happening with Johnny Depp, the emotional damage that my man Will Smith is going through. That's pulled through the ringer.
Yeah, both of them, Johnny Depp and Will Smith, are two separate examples from a different point of view. Mm-hmm. As someone like, Johnny Depp being terrorized and at the same time then ostracized into making it look like he's the one being the terror when he's just trying to survive the relationship.
Surviving Amber Heard. That's
and I didn't realize how crazy she was. And the crazy thing about that is that now that I've seen these facts come out on this case, when I see pictures of her now, I can almost see the crazy now.
They creep out.
It's like I never knew it was there. It's like a camouflage chameleon on the wall. You don't see it, but as soon as you see it, you can't unsee it. Right. It's like he's been there the whole time. You don't see him. And then someone says, "You mean you don't see that chameleon sitting right there in your face?" And then you go over and then touch him, and he moves. Like, oh shit! Now you can't unsee him. He just pops out at you. That's exactly how it is.
I think it's because as men, I mean, if you're a man, you want to see a woman as feminine. You want to see a woman as the person that you hold up and can see she could do no wrong, and you want to make her your flower, so to speak. Or whatever, if you're a man with another man, your man is your flower, or your man is your... Okay, who hitting the line? Let me see something real quick.
Okay, here we go.
Trap one time. So, yeah, I knew somebody was going to hit us up on that one, yeah. Hopefully it's somebody like, you fucking bigot assholes. Hold on, let me see.
Call from
Stone.
Okay.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
We're going to accept you. Hey, they hung up. Why you hang up? Call back.
You let it ring too long. I was thinking to myself, like, dang, he didn't.
Yeah, I'll let the ring go too far. I'm gonna put my mic down here. Hey, whoever that was, man, call us back. We'd love to hear from you.
Shit, it got too crazy. He's like, hold up, people are gonna hear me. And like, yeah, man, this ain't a private call.
I still gotta go to work tomorrow. I hung up on that shit. But,
holy shit!
But yeah, man. I mean, and those are just the marquee examples on a day-to-day granular level, man. I know dudes treat women like trash, but women equally treat dudes like trash too, man. I got some homies that have cried to me about not being able to see their kid running through the child support game, emotionally getting beat up, and in this world of heightened emotional, mental health awareness. I think it's important to look at both sides of the game, man, not just to belittle somebody's experience on both sides of the game. And again, I'm not saying that dudes, it's not this whole men's rights. I'm not saying men's rights. We gonna march down Lexington Market and shit, throwing dildos at women as they cross the street.
Throwing dildos.
Medium dicks matter.
Cow. It hurt just as bad as the other one. That's because it depends on how it hits you. If it hits you from the front part, it's like a torpedo.
Damn, if you throw a spiral with a dildo, you nice.
I would imagine only players like Tom Brady and Drew Brees can do that.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, you putting Tom out there? Hey,
nah.
Where would you take if you had to redraft every player that ever played the game? Would you take Tom number 1? Let me just throw that in there.
No, I don't think that would change because you have to think that the way the draft works is like it's information presented at hand. You don't have the luxury of hindsight information. You can't.
I'm giving you hindsight though. If you could if you could get your Biff on from Back to the Future and go back.
Well, knowing that information knows that he'll still be here in 6. You got to think about there's two sides to that coin. Picking him in the first round automatically means he's going to be picked at a higher level. You're getting that same talent from round 6. That means that is a steal. That means that you're paying him way less for talent. So that first 5 years, remember Tom Brady won on his second year. They won the Super Bowl. So the salary that he had, 6th round salary. super low salary. So that means that team, the Patriots, capitalized because they got a Super Bowl back to back. So that means that they had back to back Super Bowls. Well, actually, it was the
Nigga, you
Super
thinking
Bowl,
like
then
a
they didn't
GM,
win,
man.
and then it was two. So I don't think you would change because even knowing that hindsight, you know that he's gonna be there at 6 because no one's
But hold
seeing
on,
him.
everybody else know that too in this draft.
Okay, so everybody knows that. Then he's not even gonna come to you. The Patriots wouldn't have got him then.
No,
He'd have went number one overall.
You being too specific.
Well, in hindsight, knowing that he got 7 Super Bowls, you're picking him number one overall.
No, listen, Edward, you're not listening.
Jamarcus Russell was picked number one overall.
Look, put some ice on your dick and calm down. Let's calm down. I'm saying out of all the players ever played in the NFL in their prime at 25 years old, we hold a draft from Barry Sanders to Jerry Rice to Joe Montana, all of them 25 across the board. 24, 25. We doing a MUT, Madden Ultimate Team draft.
Okay.
Who you take, Tom Brady? You got the first round pick. Who you take?
First overall pick.
First overall pick. You can get Lawrence Taylor. You can get Rick Ross. I mean, not Rick Ross, Randy Moss. Rose.
Oh shit, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I know
That's
that wasn't
wild.
Schedule, but
That's in
we'll save that for a later date. But that's something to think on, bro. That's something to think on.
Yeah, because it depends on your approach, because there's so many top level players at each position. What
Right.
position do you want to cover first? It depends on the type of offensive scheme that you're running. You know what I mean? So it's going to be depend on so many factors. Because you're going to want to pick the top player that represents the type of scheme you're going to run first.
Right. What works
So
for
you can
Star
build
Wars on
something to
what-
build around. So most of the time it's going to be a quarterback. So knowing that, so it would be Joe Montana or Tom Brady, one of them two. You know,
I hear you.
I
Right.
I would fuck with Joe Montana too.
No Lawrence Taylor.
You know?
love? No
Huh?
Lawrence Taylor?
I'm saying I was talking about from a quarterback standpoint.
No Aaron Donald love. I got you.
Now I'm saying from a quarterback standpoint. Like if I was going defensive, then that would be a whole can of words. And Lawrence Taylor would be one of those top of the picks. You got Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, Ed Reed. Who
But
you
Lawrence
want?
Taylor with no
Secondary,
cocaine.
prime time, Deion Sanders. I mean, think about all of these players at each position that you could pick that are ultimate team
Listen,
members.
Lawrence Taylor with no cocaine.
Yeah, I think that he would not be as good.
That's a humble response. That's a humble response.
How else did he break somebody's leg? You think it wasn't cocaine at this?
Don't nobody else have a lightning bolt earring unless they on cocaine.
He broke that man's leg like fuck your couch. It's like
Your career.
yeah, he's like
That's ruthless. All right, but let's move
yo.
on,
The
man.
crazy thing is the dude's name was Theismann.
Theismann broke his thigh. Ain't like
Exactly.
this is the biggest stage play in the history of the universe. Life is a crazy bitch, man. Theismann
Lord.
broke his thigh. And this is crazy. I was talking to my son about this. Kenny Pickett went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name is Pickett, and he went to the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the University of Pitt.
That's crazy, man.
And then they pick up a receiver called Pickens,
Picking the
George Pickens. So Pickett to Pickens.
Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins.
Yo, and that receiver, I was hoping the Ravens would draft him, and the Ravens didn't. They took David Ojabo, which Mike McDonald was the defensive coordinator of Michigan.
Y'all loading up on Africans, yo. Y'all might be nice.
Yeah, yo, and you know what's funny is
A lot of niggas from
Adafe Owe and David Ojabo are actually best friends.
Yo, that's all I'm saying. Y'all got a lot of real African niggas on y'all team, so y'all niggas might be nice.
Yeah, yo.
Still gonna go 7-10. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
We
Maybe flip that to 10-7. Maybe that's at worst.
And somebody
That's
else,
at worst.
one of my homies.
Do you not realize that our schedules actually be easier because we were last in our division? That means that we're going to be playing lesser teams, so it's going to be an easier. So we're automatically, to me, 10 wins is the minimum to me.
I acknowledge that. My wife started vacuuming upstairs. Thanks, honey. But anyway, man. Shout out, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins too. We missed that.
Oh man, that also, yo. Do you know anything about that? Did you get a chance to listen to the 911 tapes?
Nah, I just heard he was feeling. He went to get
Bro.
gas. And
It was super sad, yo. His wife, the last person he talked to before he died was his wife, and he talked to her on the phone. He let her know that he ran out of gas, and they were talking while he was walking on the highway. And she was really worried about him, and his phone ended up dying in the call during the call. So she's freaking out, and all she knows is that he's walking on the highway.
Right.
And I think within an hour of that phone call, I think he may have gotten that gas, and he was on his way back. A dump truck hit him on the road, and a older woman, maybe a mid like middle aged woman, called in to 911. She witnessed him getting hit, and she was losing her mind on the phone, and it was shaking me up. I was like, yo, listening to that shit. And there was multiple calls. There was like 15 911 calls for the same incident, and then somewhere in between that, his wife ends up calling 911 trying to find out, and then and all they could tell her was, ma'am, it turns out there is an incident on that highway, but we can't disclose any further information on whether it was your husband or who it was or what actually happened. We just know that there was an incident. So all of a sudden she starts freaking praying, please God. Oh my gosh, my hair stood up on my thing because I already knew that he had died, and she's sitting there praying for his life.
That's heavy,
and then
rest
it was heavy, bro, and just crazy how he just died. He was out there freaking training for the season, and he was out there with some players and stuff. Yeah, Claypool, all of them. They were all training for getting prepared for the season. Yeah, they were all out there. All the quarterbacks was out there. They were all just training for the season, getting ready. And he was on his way home supposedly. So I don't know what happened. It was at night. So people were saying, I
thought it was like an early morning.
Was it early morning? Was it early in the morning?
Yeah, because it was daylight.
Okay, it was early in the morning when the sun was coming up, right?
Right, something like that. Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of rumors going around that he was being where he wasn't supposed to, and it was karma and all that.
People say that shit. You wasn't supposed
But
to do that.
no one knows the facts. All I know is a tragic event. The man's walking on the side of the highway trying to get some gas because he ran out of gas. But it goes to show, when you're low on E, I don't fuck around. When I'm low on E, I'm like, first gas station I see, I'm stopping. I don't give a fuck about how much the gas price is. Just put a quick five in there and then fill it up somewhere else.
Right.
That's what I do. Put a quick five just so you can get to where you're getting at.
I used to stay breaking down on gas. I can't lie. I was a cheap ass.
Yo, after that, life's short, yo. Yeah. And the worst place to break down is the highway too.
Ain't nothing. You just there. So love your family up, man. You don't know how, life is crazy. Nobody plans to die. It just happens. So
yeah, and I mean the whole reason the Steelers even picked Pickett is because of Dwayne Haskins' death.
They had got him anyway.
Nah, they were forced to pick a quarterback.
Yeah. So you think they would have went with Haskins?
You got Haskins and who's the other one? Mitch Trubisky.
Mr. Bitch. Nah, I don't think Mitch the Bitch.
They were doing a quarterback competition between them two. That's how they were looking at it. So Dwayne Haskins, they were actually high on him. Like he had all the intangibles. His problem was he wasn't getting his head in the game. He was undisciplined. But that's why I think Mike Tomlin was a perfect guy for him because he's a very disciplined minded coach. He's all about discipline. So yeah, he would have set him straight. And I think that was the opportunity he would have gotten there. And that's the reason. I don't think they would have drafted a quarterback in the first round. They drafted him in the first round. They would have not drafted a first round quarterback if Dwayne Haskins was still alive. I know that.
Boy Wills from Liberty, but that's a different situation.
Because think about it, only one quarterback went in the first round. Was Pickett?
Yeah.
Another quarterback didn't go until the late second, early third, some shit like that. It was a long time before. It was a late second before the next quarterback came up.
Went from Liberty, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I mean,
shout out to my little brother watching this, man. Love you, Dre.
Yeah.
But yeah, so man, let's get out. Let's just rest in peace to him, man. Thoughts and prayers to his family.
Yeah, 25 years old.
Kid, man, just a kid.
Young, too young.
But anyway, man. So the next thing we wanted to touch on a little bit, man, and we getting close to our roach limit. Is the labor shortage in America, man. And it's not that we don't have people. It's just a big labor shortage from everywhere, from pilots to physical therapists, the line cooks, the strippers. Nobody want to work their job no more. And it's causing a strain on top of that with the supply chain issues we have, plus inflation, plus this, plus that. So a lot of people are choosing to go to DoorDash and entrepreneurial things where they might make a little bit less than a traditional job, but the flexibility is there to be with their family. Because a lot of people got a taste of that. I'm home with my family all the time type shit. And now
Yep.
they're like, man, fuck being a greeter at Walmart, nigga.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
do some. I'll do some.
And also a spike in people taking work from home jobs too.
Yes,
You know what
yes,
I mean?
yes.
So that's been a spike in that, and I could tell you that firsthand, just being a cable technician, how many customers we have are getting internet only just so they could work from home.
Are you when
And
you
it's
go to
like,
people's crib? Are you starting to see them? I know it used to be just the wife up in there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna speak on the atrocities that had took place back then. But
hey
now
man,
you,
I'm not 20 years old no more. I ain't with none of
yeah,
that,
no,
man.
I know you not. You far removed from that game. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, are you starting to see that the man and the wife or the partners are home now? Both the spouses are home.
Yeah, that it's more so than normal where you'll see a lot of times there's more people moving.
Mm,
People are moving more throughout the year where, usually we get the moving happening in the spring and summertime.
summertime. Yep.
Now it's year round. People are moving in the winter, this and that. So people are picking up and starting over in different places. So things have changed from that. And also a lot of work from home situations where people have offices and that modem has to be in a specific place because they have the hard line to it. So sometimes I'm coming home, the husband is home. Sometimes the husband's the contact, but the wife is home and she's the one that works from home. So, you
Shout out to
know,
the ladies in the workforce, man.
but it's been like that. I see most of the time now, the whole families are home. More kids are homeschooled.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of that now where kids are homeschooled now. And they're still doing remote
Virtual learning.
learning.
Right.
That virtual learning is still heavy over here, where it's like it's down here. It's no longer a requirement, but it's your choice.
And you
So
in
you
North
can
Carolina,
choose to
right?
have your kid remotely learn or be in school, and every kid is actually assigned a laptop
Mm.
to for them. So that means the kid stays home, even if they stay home sick. Now they can do so. That helps too because now when kids stay home from school, they can still not miss the day because now everything, especially in high school down here, everything is sent. So it's sent right to your the kid's email account.
And they
So
can
they
just
have
work from
all
there.
their work. Yeah.
But
So
hold on, let
technically,
me tell you this though. I don't think teachers give a fuck like that. Since the pandemic, I think teachers have been my kids' teachers have. I email them all the time. Thank you for spending extra time. But a lot of a lot of my nephews and nieces and shit, they go to school in Baltimore City, and they ain't learning shit, bro. My nephew Mike, I ain't gonna say his last name. I don't want to get him fucked up in school. My nephew Mike, he came to my aunt's house, and I'm like, man, how's school, man? I was like, what you been learning? He's like, look what I learned. He started dancing and shit. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck?
is that really what he learned?
He learned how to pop lock in sixth grade, nigga.
Sixth grade.
That's all they. I think the strain on the
Well, do
teacher.
they have a dance class or
No, nigga. He
the
just
kids
did
goofing
pop
off?
lock in geometry class. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think the teachers have just been pushed to a limit, and this is all tying back to how people trying to get away from traditional jobs, where they're at a point where like, man, let me see what else is out there because teachers already weren't getting paid enough.
Yeah.
And I think the school boards showed them just how much they gave a fuck about them during all of this pandemic shit. So you got these young kids coming into the labor force. They like, do I really want to do this for 25 years and getting first of all minimum pay,
Yeah.
second of all no real respect, and then third of all you dealing with some, at least in this city, at least in Baltimore, you dealing with some of the most rowdy kids, disrespectful kids, parents not teaching their kids how to behave or respect adults and shit like so that vortex of stress equals a middle finger to the education system.
Yeah, exactly. I
I don't
mean,
know.
it's just crazy how lopsided it is with the pay system, especially with teachers and stuff. Because doctors in the medical field, they're taking substantial pay increases at certain levels,
Mm-hmm.
and as well they should, because the medical the medical field is very important. It's basically our livelihoods is at stake there. Well, also the future of our children's livelihood is at stake with the educational system. And
Right.
unless you got the money to send your kid to a private school where a teacher is getting the type of salary that makes them give a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where the teachers actually get paid. You go to a private school where that school is private funded, and paid for by the students.
Right.
To go to that school, there's tuitions and shit. So I mean, then if you're in public school system, you're fucked because they're not allocating enough funds to the educational school system. And if you're in bad areas like Baltimore City, I'm lucky because I'm in a city. I'm in Raleigh where there's multiple colleges. I mean, we have multiple major colleges, within a 30-minute drive of where I live. So the educational system down here is really good down here. All the kids during the pandemic automatically got free lunch down here, whether or not you applied for it. So this is a good school system down here. But if you're misfortunate enough to be in a city, a low budget area like Baltimore or like Detroit or like some of the like rural cities where the educational school system is just hanging on by a thread, your textbooks only go up to Ronald Reagan as the last president or Clinton, and they had to like copy paste the pages to the book to show that there's more presidents.
Shit missing out the book and
yeah.
shit.
If you ever want to, that speaks of which, Abbott Elementary. That's a comedy sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. It's like a mockumentary. If you ever get a chance to watch that, it's hilarious. It talks about the school system, but in a comedic way.
Mm-hmm.
But it touches on a lot of these things. It's like how underfunded these schools are, and because they're underfunded, the teachers have a lower salary. But those are the schools that need the most help, and they're the ones that got the least amount of support, and that's crazy, yo. You're being paid peanuts. There's trash men get paid more than some teachers in some lower income communities that have those public schools. So it's crazy to even think that, and that's the future of our children. How are we supposed to uprise from this area if you're starting off so low, and then come on, and then you expect and you expect the teacher to care. The teacher don't care. The student's not going to care. The student's not going to care. They don't give a fuck.
It's like 1 out of every maybe 30 kids, you'll find that one kid that's just like, I want to get out of here. I want to work on, I want to be an engineer or some shit like that. But for the most part, niggas just freestyling at lunch, playing basketball, wearing Gucci bandanas and shit like that.
And usually those are the students that get all the attention because those teachers look at it like, I can't save everybody, but this kid has got potential, so they'll put all their eggs in that basket because it's like they'll at least feel good. It's like, I got one out.
Yeah,
I got one.
That's their Matilda.
Yeah, I got one out. You know what I mean?
Every time I see a teacher walking into a school in Baltimore City, I just hear the Dangerous Minds theme song playing in my head. Tell me why
are we so blind to see
fucking Coolio,
that the ones we heard are you and me,
hey, yo,
baby.
I cried in Dangerous Minds.
Hey, Dangerous Mind was no joke, yo, because she's like,
them kids, yo.
Yeah, she really did. She was like, so what am I supposed to say? That if you want a chance in life, learn to knock. Yeah. Motherfucker sent him away because he did not like, yo, so the fuck what? Yo, I swear, yo, she should have flipped his desk like and Lean On Me when the coach went yeah. Yo, because he was like, oh, thank God you talked to him, and then he was like, it's like, no, I didn't talk to him. It's like, what happened? I sent him away because he didn't knock. These students gotta learn that we live in a world where when you enter someone's office, you knock.
And he ain't eating at home. He's dealing with all types of shit at home, and you judging him off of a fucking knock.
Yo, she took this kid to her house, convinced him
to get out the game,
to do what he's known not to do, so he could save his own life, and he does it. Only gets sent away,
and got killed, man.
And then he got killed, and then later on in the afternoon, she hears that he got shot.
Right now, nigga.
Yo, she almost left. Remember, she was like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And then the kids had to fight to get her back. They called her. They
can't leave, girl.
What was the damn? I'm trying to remember this movie. So it's like, we gotta stop you. We're the ones raging. You're our light. We're raging against the dying of the light. And she's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Come on, what do you need to stay? Okay, you want a candy bar?" Throws her a Butterfinger. Dude's like, "Oh, you know you want to stay." Yeah, he started pop locking, and the girl's like, "Don't make me have to tie it to the chair, cause you know we want you to stay."
That's the
I remember that movie too much.
That's the energy of the hood school.
But think about it. She's making peanuts, and it's like if you're not passionate, that's why in the end sometimes when you see those good teachers in those schools, you gotta give them praises, yo, give them gifts. let them know they're appreciated because they're not making enough money, but they're showing so much passion. You got to give them something because they got to get some kind of reward. Otherwise, that passion dies, yo. When you're not getting nothing back for what you're doing, you caring about these kids, and then you're not getting paid enough, and then you're dealing with some unruly parents because they're upset.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this
And it's
teacher
their
doesn't have
fault
to
most
do
of the
none of this
time.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
their fault most of the time. Like at the end of the school year, I know we don't give them much, but we give our teachers the a gift card or a gas card or something just to say, hey man, thank you for taking the time. Because Ivana be on our kids' teacher ass about like,
Yeah.
hey, what's this? Where the homework? Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
She
that's how
gets a little bit.
that's how I am too. Like I'm on it, but when I
am on
notice that the teacher shows an effort, then I make sure I get the next time I talk to them. I really appreciate the extra time.
Yeah. We appreciate you here.
Because-
Too Late We Said It podcast educators.
Yeah.
We really do. We understand
Yeah.
that's the grassroots of these babies, man.
The educational system is the most important thing to our society because that's what drives the society forward.
Yeah. But let me
And,
ask you this, Edwin. Do you think the public school education system raises our kids to be entrepreneurs or employees? Do it give them the tools?
it's an employee mindset, I think, for the
me
most
too,
part.
man. Me too, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I wish, and I think that's what the private schools do. They teach you how to govern yourself and to contribute and grow others. But I think the public schools is just like do just enough to get by, take care of yourself, follow orders, obey.
Yeah.
It's weird, but you got to do what you got to do. Certain parents can't afford to. I mean, I could send my kids to private school, but it's like I think they would be. I think it's a lesson to learn in public school, dealing with people from different socioeconomic.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits that come with that. So it's almost like, that's why I think it's important that parents are involved, especially with their kids going through, like, especially once your kids like enters into the middle school realm, because that's the realm when kids are starting to hit puberty and they're starting to become younger adult versions of themselves. That it's like letting them understand, like, the school system has changed. It's no longer like fun and getting good grades. It's like now you have to learn how to interact with different people, learning the people that you most identify with, and know the people that you don't, so that you know how to deal with it. And I always told my son, like, this is a psychology 101 once you get high school, because it's like every person that you interact with, just know that you're gonna meet a different version of that person in the workforce later. So learning how to deal with them now is going to help you, so you can know how to be diplomatic when you need to be diplomatic, and know when you have to like put your foot down and say nah. And then also understanding that in order for you to get somewhere, you have to navigate those things carefully, because maybe you'll get a win here, but that could set you back. And that's the whole game. Being able to live within society and function. Public school gives you that, because if the kid is prepared, they'll understand that they can learn from the experiences with the interaction of other kids, because there's so many different types of walks of life that go through public school, where private school, you're most likely dealing with the upper class population, where these kids come from rich families and stuff like that, so they don't have the struggles. So there's the character is different. You know what I mean? Because these kids,
it's benefits to the high.
It's benefits to both. So it's I think that there's a blend. Like, if I had the money for it, it's like it'd be like I would start my child in private school, and then when they get to high school, at some point put them in public so they can learn the other aspect.
That's like raising a nigga in the zoo and then dropping them off in the Serengeti.
Yeah. Come on, you got this. Hey, in some cultures, remember the Spartans? You know what the Spartans did? They trained them from kids, and when it's their time to find out if they're ready to be a warrior, they send them out into the wilderness cold. If they come back, they're a Spartan. If they don't, it's because they died. That's how the Spartans.
The Spartans were still beating their kids' ass when they was children. Though.
So when a kid go out there, you're either gonna come back a Spartan or not come back at all.
Now that's fucked up. Guess it's been 6 weeks. I guess Johnny's gone.
So if the Spartans did that, that's what's the worst that could happen.
That's true.
But I think there's some kind of healthy blend at some point. I don't know how exactly I would approach it, because my son's about to graduate. He went through public school his whole school.
Shout out to your son, man.
So,
shout out to little Edwin, man.
Yeah, man. He's gonna be graduating this year, and
proud of you, young boy.
And he's already applying, doing his college stuff, and I had to help him with it. And man, there's a lot. It's a lot. I had to like prove. Do you know they had to look at my fucking taxes and shit to prove that I'm a fucking North Carolina resident and all? Yo, that's just a lot, yo.
Just don't get him into college the way Forrest Gump mother got him into school, nigga. I don't want to see you fucking.
I care about.
Your daddy sure does care about your schooling. Boy.
I care about his schooling too. I pray that I don't have to show it. But
hey, look, hey,
Lord knows what I would do.
Hey, so we gonna wind this down, man. We didn't get to our last thing, but we'll hey man, maybe we could do another episode Wednesday or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely down with that, man. We've had such a long time that we haven't been doing this, so yeah, we never get to our last topic. Let's face it.
We don't.
we added topics to this shit.
But is there anything you want to throw out there, man?
Man, I'm just happy that we doing this again. I'm gonna be a little bit better groomed. I look like I just came out of solitary for this, so I mean, we just adjust on the fly. Yeah. As much as I don't like the Rams, I miss your Rams background and all that. You know, you had a nice little background and shit. I was still flying through the fucking galaxy, as y'all can see. My background's still legit with Grogu and my Imani OT pillow that back there.
Let them see.
Shout out to Rissa for getting me. That was a birthday gift, by the way.
Let me see it again. Put it up there.
She customized it for me and sent this right here for my birthday. And she put Imani OT. You know that right there. Like that's my first and middle name right there, Imani, and that OT stands for oak tree. You know, stand firm in your beliefs like an oak tree, deep roots. So
yeah, but yeah, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Oh, and I'm just plug a couple things, man. This month, over the next 2 weeks, I'm actually getting back into comedy, man, with a couple of different producers getting me on different shows, man. Shout out to y'all for getting me back in the game. Young nigga was rusty and musty, but now I'm trying to get myself back together. I'll be at on May 4th. I'll be at the Dewdrop Inn in DC with Bottle Rocket Comedy at 8 p.m. May 12th, I'll be at Old Line Whiskey Brewery Company with Ellicott City Comedy Festival. I gotta stop saying the N-word for white people. My guy Mike Quinlan and my brother from another, Christopher Lawrence, run the comedy shows out there. And I also on the 14th, definitely come out to this one if you're in the city. I'm so happy to be on.
Wait, 14th of June?
Of May.
Of May.
On the 14th of this month, I will be at Snorts and Giggles with my brother Dawu Shabazz at now.
Yo. I'm going to be in Maryland sometime in May, so I need those dates so I could try to plan around that, so I could try to go to one of them joints.
You got to see my dude, Dawu Shabazz, bro. This is like Umar Johnson meets Huey Newton meets the Black Panther meets Rosewood. This nigga's just like, he's raw. You got to see my dude, Dawu Shabazz.
Yo, you know what I just thought of? We got to do like a comedy segment where we get a couple of your your colleagues from the comedy clubs, and it's like get one or two of them just to chop it up, about what's going on in the comedy industry and the local scenes and stuff like that. Yo, that would be awesome. Like learning that shit. Also learn, a chance to like introduce comics to, because it's an art form, yo. Being a stand-up comic is a serious art form. People don't really respect that. It's an art form. Like somebody writes a music album. It's the same. It's like you writing an album. It's like you get your new Jay-Z album. That's what a stand-up special is. You put it together from front to back, yo, and you got to make a cohesive stand-up, and that's pure art form. And then at the same time, do it in front of people and deliver it in a specific manner so people can relate and laugh. It's an art form that people don't like. It's not getting enough respect, And under no circumstances should a comic be afraid of somebody coming up on stage and slapping them neither. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there, but I am shots fired. But at the same time, yo, given Will's circumstances, like I understand that it wasn't even about Chris Rock. It was more about like he's going through something, yo, and that was just something that was him. That was the his cap overflowed, like his cup overflowed in that moment, and it just so happened Chris Rock was the guy that initiated the last straw on the camel's back, and
like they saying half baked. Killer for the rat, B.
but that's serious though, no comic should be, because it's not even like it was that disrespectful, he just threw a quick little jab and kept it moving given the circumstances. But no comic should have to be afraid of somebody coming on stage, because that's an art form. It's all in good fun, and
It is.
Shit, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Let's pull the curtains, baby. We will see you guys, man. We are definitely gonna do another episode this week, this upcoming week. Be it Tuesday.
But yeah, think about that, man. Get some comics together
I'm gonna
and
holler at
do
you
like
guys. I know a couple guys already.
Yeah.
In mind. It's a couple female comics I know too, man. Very good orators. They can definitely talk, man. They got some shit to spit. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of talent here in the DMV area too, man. If you're watching this and you outside of the DMV, man, this is one of the most heavily clustered areas of outstanding comedians, man. You could pop into almost any venue any night and be like, wow, damn, that's a talented person, man. And not even talking about myself. I'm in awe at a lot of the people on the scene, new comics that I see come up very quickly. I'm not gonna name no names, but because then niggas gonna be like, you ain't say me, yo, you bitch ass nigga. So I'm just gonna
That's why we're gonna have a segment.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of
people. We have a little segment because this app that we using can have multiple people. But yeah, yo, we out, man. Till next time, we're gonna get together, yo. You just let me know, Sean, get at me, and I'll be ready, yo. I'll be ready.
All right, guys. Have a good week. We will talk to you soon. From Edwin Nevado and myself, Sean Leverett. Thanks.
And don't forget, too late we said it.
Too late we said it. And I'm just leaving it at that. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Oh. Did we end?